that Deb and others will talk about. And you will be able to weigh in on what we propose, right? And we hope that by weighing in on our research protocols and our extension programs, that'll help get some buy-in from others in our industries, because that's what we need to really do this, right? So as our advisory committee, we have a lot of A-listers, and I really thank you all for your time on this. We have Andrew Bray and Bob Mann from the National Association of Landscape Professionals. NALP is a professional organization headquartered in Fairfax, Virginia. You have 100,000 members in all aspects of landscape management, from lawn care and design to maintenance, tree care, and irrigation, even interior scaping. And this little background is, I know most of you know each other, but I want to make sure that everyone's on board so that they know who else is on this call and will be participating in future calls. NALP works in advocacy, education, workforce development, and setting of industry standards. We have Tori Carter Koenig from the American Society of Landscape Architects. The landscape architects in the room, you have a lot to say about what gets planted in the landscape. And ASLA is your voice in Washington and beyond. ASLA is involved in advocacy, communication, education, and offers a fellowship. You know, a lot of folks that have put a lot of time into their careers are recognized as fellows in the ASLA. When we were putting this group together, you know, the SCRI is really big on geographical diversity, and everyone's like, oh, there's a lot of stuff coming from DC. I'm like, well, that's just what happens when you're an advocacy group. People show up in the Washington, DC area, and that is where ASLA is headquartered. Their goal is to create healthy, beautiful, and resilient places. And that's the goal of our project, is to increase resiliency through greater species and genetic diversity. Dan Herms, thanks Dan for making it today. Davey Tree Experts. Dan is the head of research and development with that organization and the Davey Institute, which is their research arm. Davey is headquartered in Kent, Ohio, and they have research and technical support staff working at a high level throughout North America. Davey supports numerous technical teams, and they have a wide range of staff that address entomology, horticulture, urban forestry, botany, etc. Mike Martin from American Hort. I worked with American Hort quite a bit during my PhD when I was working in floriculture, and it is a large organization representing growers, breeders, suppliers, and all aspects of the support that goes behind horticultural production. It is a nonprofit that, like Davey, it operates out of Ohio and Columbus, but they do have a presence in Washington, DC. And the part that I'm most familiar with through their funding and their publication, Journal of Environmental Horticulture, is American Hort's Horticultural Research Institute. Over in Oregon with Linda and Ryan Contreras is Guy Meacham from J. Frank Schmidt and Sons Company. Anyone who's involved in nursery production or any aspect of tree planting has heard of this company, I'm sure. They are, if not the biggest grower, one of the biggest growers in North America, out of Boring, Oregon, great name. They produce 500 varieties and cultivars, which is quite an array of diversity. Unfortunately, that diversity doesn't always translate into our urban environments, right? Sometimes an individual city or a customer just will grab a small pallet of those 500 trees, which it was very unfortunate. And of those 500 varieties, they've developed more than 100 themselves at their own facility and marketed it. They ship 1.5 million trees annually, and those are generally bare root liners that are produced in a bigger size locally, upsize locally, and they also have container liners as well. I'm not sure if Cecil's on the call, but Cecil Kaneinendijk is a well-known urban forestry expert who recently struck out to start Nature-Based Solutions Institute in Barcelona. He is well known for his policy and development kind of research, working with local governance to enact change in urban forestry issues. And in our focus groups, we found that that's a place where we can make a really big difference, is just addressing local laws and policies that limit urban diversity. And hopefully we'll find that with more data beyond where we want to look. His institute provides reports, briefs, strategic plans, training, and communications globally, and we hope to benefit from his experiences in that. Caitlin Pallahan from International Society of Arboriculture. I used to work at ISA prior, as you heard, to going back into academia. ISA is a tree care industry and advocacy group. So, trees are good, trees need care, arborists care for trees, and this is the group that cares for the arborists. They work to raise public awareness of tree care and its value, and they serve their membership by supporting research, such as this, professional development, like our extension efforts we hope to make, and then they're one of the many groups that weighs in on the industry standards and safety standards. So they're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, and they have about 24,000 members and 35 certified arborists with a lot of overlap, but not perfect overlap between those two groups. Chris Riley is from Bartlett Research Labs in North Carolina. Like Davey, Bartlett has their own research arm. Yours started over 100 years ago, and Bartlett's Research Lab does a lot of the diagnosis, training, and research that comes out of the Bartlett Tree Care Expert Company. They have a lot of their work is out of North Carolina at their facilities where there's an arboretum and laboratories and teaching space. I've been there, it's really nice. But there's folks throughout North America and even in the United Kingdom, Lynn Percival over at the University of Reading. So, and Laura Roman, these are all in alphabetical order, so no special order for this. Laura is with the USDA Forest Service, close collaborator, and recommended by Phil Rodbell to serve in his stead while he's up at the White House at the moment. She works with the Northern Research Station in Philly and is part of Phil's team on urban sustainability. That team has 50 researchers at 9 stations throughout America, and they are charged with investigating the social, economic, environmental impacts of trees in urban areas. Pete Smith, Arbor Day Foundation. Heard a lot of good things yesterday from Eric North about you, Pete. Glad to have you on the call. Arbor Day Foundation, we're all familiar with, Tree City USA, Tree Campus USA, some of the many recognition programs that Arbor Day Foundation is behind and spearheading, showing the value of investing in our urban trees. Arbor Day Foundation does a lot beyond that in conservation and education, including their Partners in Community 40 conference series. And they work both in urban and rural areas to reforest areas that once had trees or can support trees. And as we know, they're headquartered in Lincoln, Nebraska, in their beautiful facility there.